This weekend, the Sports Car Club of America returns to America's National Park of Speed, Road America. Across 2 grueling days of competition, 23 champions will be crowned in an event unique in motorsports. For over 400 drivers, a season's toil culminates in this single event with a chance to earn a coveted gold medal and the title of national champion in the 62nd edition of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs, presented by Sunoco.
Welcome to America's National Park of Speed, and it looks like a national park with these beautiful fall colors, but we are here for the final Hagerty race days for the 62nd running of the SCCA National Championship Runoffs presented by Sunoco. I'm John Phippen alongside Larry Lefty McLeod as we are getting ready to bring you the combined race for Super Touring Under and GT3U, as this is the second of our double races for the day, or the first of our double races for the day. But to talk a little bit about this change in the GT3 class, let's head down to Hayward Wagner on the pit lane. Hey, Hayward.
Good morning, gentlemen. We had a little dress rehearsal on this one, so we're ready to go. STU and GT3 going to be our double race this race, and these groups are going to be going together in the future. GT3 traditionally are tube frame, body on real race cars. STU historically has been production-based cars with modifications, race modifications, and we have a new player in the game in the TCR cars, including our pole sitter, Peter Cunningham. The TCR cars are turnkey race cars, FIM homologated from the manufacturer. These are race cars built by Honda, built by Hyundai, built by Audi. They are very fast, very fun, and very easy to get into racing with. This particular one is being driven by Hall of Famer Peter Cunningham. It is carrying the real-time racing livery, and if you grew up as a Honda fanboy like Tom and I did, you get all kinds of feels when you see Honda Championship White with orange stripes and the real-time racing branding on it. This car is on pole, but we have several behind it that are just as exciting and just as interesting.
Indeed, and it's great to see Peter Cunningham. Believe it or not, Peter Cunningham, this is only his 3rd runoff start. Hard to believe. His best finish was a second in 1988 at Road Atlanta in showroom stock C. So Petey into the breach here, and it's great to see how that's going to shake out. But starting alongside him, Chip Herr in the factory Audi TCR car. And Chip, a 2-time and defending champion of the STU class, and he's going to give him a run for his money. Taz Harvey and another of the Honda Civic TCRs starting in 3rd spot. So those TCR cars out in front should be fun. But we've got lots of great cars in this STU field. And then in the GT3U category, we've got 8 cars with Tony Ave, 5-time champion after winning GT1 yesterday in his Honda Civic, number 44, and Michael Lewis, the 11-time champion, starting alongside him. So, Lefty, let's talk a little bit about this fact. These cars are going to be combined together next year. As I look at the lap times, they're within a couple tenths. The pole times in both are within a couple tenths of each other. So this should be a pretty good amalgam coming up in 2026.
We hope so, yeah. Excuse me. Yeah, we are hoping that it is a good merge as they get forward. The traditional GT3 cars are those tube frame cars. You see a lot of these, the Mazdas, the silhouette bodies on them. Trying to merge them is the challenge with this STU field, which is primarily things like World Challenge cars, production tub-based cars, to try and bring them together in as fair a way as possible. And there are close. As you mentioned, you've got your pole sitter in GT3. Pace is similar to the pole sitters in STU. The wild card in there, as Hayward alluded to, are those TCR cars that have seemed to come in with a huge punch right now into STU. They actually did maybe they did the conversion early. They were actually a GT3 car last year, right, where Taz Harvey was driving his. Now he's back in here as an STU car. So maybe that's the indicator of where they need to go to get them level, but they're on the right path, and running them here in this race together may be a good indicator of what we're going to see next year.
Lefty, while you're at it, for those of you not familiar with this beautiful race course, let's take a track map presented by Mazda and take us a lap around this 4-mile circuit.
Yeah, well, it all starts about straightaways and speed. Of course, the Road America straight brings you all the way into turn 1, which looks like just a simple 90. It is a fast, flying 90, and a lot of these cars we're going to see side by side together through there. They'll run down the hill to turn 3, which is another critical exit because it leads you to the back straight, which is uphill under the Sargento Bridge, and then into the tightest braking zone, the hardest braking zone on the track, the start of our next sector there at turn 5. Then you get sort of the twisty part of the track, and this is where some of the smaller cars may have the advantages through here. You got 6 and 7, down the hurry downs through 8, and then, of course, the carousel, and then the famous kink, where it's just how fast do you want to go and how fast you're willing to go around the kink, which leads to this beautiful shot you can even see in the background down there towards Canada Corner. Great passing zone at Canada. Come out of that right-hander at Canada around the Bill Mitchell bend, and then right here, as you can see in the background shot, turn 14, back up the Road America Straight. And you can see how steep that hill is. They go underneath that new bridge they put in. It's beautiful.
Absolutely right, and one of the landmark race courses here in North America, and it's been a site of some fantastic races so far this weekend, and we're going to wrap it up today with the final 9 races of the weekend. So as the car is getting ready to roll away behind the safety car, let's take a moment to thank some of the partners who make this broadcast possible.
Shopping for tires used to really rub me the wrong way. That was before I went to TireRack.com. TireRack's tire decision guide made it easy to find the right tires. Talk about secret sauce. You might ask, well, you bought them, now how are you gonna put them on? No problem. TireRack has thousands of recommended installers. I chose one that does mobile installation. A technician brought the tires right to my house. He's installing them now.
Almost finished, Herb. Take your time.
I'm just marinating. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I'll wake up.
Okay, track day checklist. Let's go. You got your gloves, your helmet, water, snacks, sunscreen, your car is prepped and ready to go. Oof, forgot your track day insurance, didn't you? If you want to be covered for the whole value of your car, you need high-performance driver education coverage through Hagerty. We'll get you a policy for track days, time trials, and more in less time than it took you to apply that sunscreen. Hagerty, let's drive together.
Welcome back. As the cars are on their formation lap behind the safety car, let's introduce the starting grid for you. The STU cars will start in the first wave. This will be a 2-wave start since we've got 2 classes here. Peter Cunningham in only his 3rd runoff start in the number 42 Honda Civic TCR. Next to him will be the defending champion, 2-time champion, Chip Herr, out of the Susquehanna Valley region in car number 1. That's an Audi RS3 LMS. Then we've got Taz Harvey in the number 88 out of the San Francisco region in the Civic TCR. Next to him in row 2 is Richard Estacio in the number 80 out of the New England region in a Lotus Exige. The youngest driver in the field, and he's 37. That gives you some indication of just how experienced these drivers are. Jose Espina out of the Puerto Rico region, the 24 Super Touring Light champion in his Honda CRX. Anthony Garacci next to him in the number 31 out of the New York region in another Lotus Exige. Rylan Hazelton, in the number 49 out of the San Francisco region in a Civic. And Jorge Nazario in the number 165, also from the Puerto Rico region in an MX-5. In row 5, the 190 of David Fiorelli out of the Texas region in a Mustang, and Michael Kuna in the number 74 from the New England region in a BMW M3. The only rookie in the STU field is the number 84 of Peter St. Pierre out of the Atlanta region. Peter's driving a Honda Civic. Next to him is James Slechta in the number 75 out of the Colorado region in a Nissan. Alan Orban is in row 7 in the 05 out of St. Louis in a Dodge Neon, and Peter Federland in the 20 from the Lone Star region in a Supra. Whitfield Gregg, the most experienced driver in the field, the number 17 out of the New York region, is making his 25th runoff start in a Miata. Michael Reese next to him in the 89 in a Honda S2000. John Weisberg alone in row 9 in the number 40 BMW Z4. Now for GT3U, we've got 8 cars in the field. Tony Abe is the pole sitter in the number 44 Honda Civic. He is a 5-time champion, most recently the GT1 championship earlier this weekend. He's from the Central Carolinas region. Next to him, 11-time and defending champion of the class, Michael Lewis, out of the Cal Club in the number 32 Mazda RX-7 in his 50th runoff start. Jeff Derniel next to him, or not next to him, in the next row, should we say, in the 65. He's the 2019 champion of the class in an RX-7. And Tony Rivera in the number 09 out of the San Diego region in an RX-3 in his 21st runoff start. In row 3, we've got the 78 of Rob Borkowski, a 2-time champion, most recently in 2013 in a Mazda RX-7. Chris Eden starts next to him in the 26 out of the Arkansas region in a Miata. And on the final row, the 39 of George Chacon out of the Blackhawk Valley region in an RX-7. And the only rookie in the GT3U, the 93 of Rick Klein out of the Atlanta region in another Mazda RX-7. As the field working its way through Kettle Bottoms, which is the run down toward Canada Corner.
Yeah, something to look forward to is watching the start here once the GT3s take their green flag, as they are quickly going to catch the back of this STU field. So you're going to have that struggle. Since the advantage of being in the STU pole is you don't have anybody in front of you for the first half lap at least, or probably a couple laps, but the GT3 leaders are going to have to deal with some of the cars that are a bit slower in STU. So watch how that plays out. See if anybody like Michael Lewis or Jeff Derniel has a chance to maybe make a move onto Tony Abe as they start to catch that traffic.
Exactly right. And, you know, give the GT3 cars, 2-frame silhouette cars for the most part, and that's giving them a bit of an advantage. But these very potent factory TCR cars at the front of the STU field are going to be fun to watch. That Lotus Exige of Richard Estacio and another Exige with Anthony Garacci right behind as those two Loti bring their way toward the attention of the starter. As we wait for the green flag, Peter Cunningham controlling the pace as he is entitled to do, and we are away. Cunningham gets the jump, Chip Herr in the Audi. And then popping to the inside immediately is Taz Harvey as he's trying to make it 3 wide down into turn number 1, but it's going to be Cunningham with the one of Chip Herr going wide, using up all that racetrack as they head down the hill.
And look at Pena already up into that 4th spot now in that CRX.
Jose Osiris Pena, the 24 Super Touring Light national champion. Looking very racy here at the beginning. He's all over the back of Taz Harvey. So those TCR cars looking strong here, but here comes Michael Lewis and Tony Abe side by side. They should paint their cars different colors, you know? Abe in the 44, Lewis in the 32 as they come to the flag. And there's the green as these GT3 cars make their final start. And a great run for Michael Lewis as he's got a little more grunt in that RX-7, but a little better top end for Tony Abe, so he's able to maintain the lead as they bend it in. And right there to pick up the pieces, Jeff Derniel in that Mazda RX-7. Derniel going for 2nd spot as he goes side by side with the 11-time champion. Michael Lewis still side by side. They give each other racing room. Well done.
So Lewis is on the Goodyears, or the other cars around him are all on the Hoosier, and I wonder if the Hoosiers are coming in just a bit that much quicker here early on. And for Lewis, he's got to manage tires differently. I'm not sure exactly if that's the issue here, but I do know there is a tire compound difference between them, although here they are going into 5. Lewis seems aggressive enough on the brakes.
Side by side, but he locks up just a bit. It goes way deep. So Michael Lewis going to have to do a U-turn here, and he's going to come from the back as he'll fall all the way back to the penultimate position in the GT3U class. So he's got an uphill struggle now as he left his braking just a little bit too late. Heading down into turn 5. Back at the front, it's still Cunningham in the Civic with the Audi of Chip Herr right on his bumper, as these two beginning to pull away a bit from Taz Harvey. And then the Lotus of Richard Estacio with Jose Osiris Pena right behind him.
Yeah, Pena got shuffled back. We saw him jump up just a couple spots there at the start. Now he's finding himself behind Estacio in the Lotus, and then, of course, behind Taz Harvey and the third of those TCR cars. But looking at Chip Herr here, he's just showing a lot, and that's a little more than showing.
Yes, indeed. He put his nose in there, but PD said, thank you very much. I'll keep the lead here as they head under the Aaron's Tunnel and down the hill toward turn 3. Look at Jose. He is right on the tail of Estacio in that Lotus.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable this morning through those high-speed turns like turn 1 and turn 3. Just don't know if the CRX has the power of those in front of him. Look at him here, though, getting a little bit of a draft maybe off of Estacio's Lotus and maybe going to try and challenge for that 4th spot going into 5.
Side by side at the front as P.D. Cunningham has to go just a little defensive in the run down the hill.
Oh, there's contact.
Oh, the Lotus gets right into the back of Taz Harvey. As Estacio, man, that's tough. As I think he was surprised perhaps by just how much braking Taz Harvey had in that TCR car. As we get a replay here, as he jumps in the back, it just gets him up off the ground. And you can see the hood on that, or the front cowling on that Lotus knocked off its moorings, and I think that's it for Estacio.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Just I wonder if he misjudged the braking point there. May have been looking at Pena in his mirrors a little bit too much, not seeing exactly where Taz was braking in front of him. But, and this is the other Krug speed.
The 31 of Anthony Garacci in the other Lotus Exige. So a pair of the Lotuses out early here.
Wow.
As this battle at the front continues. Cunningham holding the lead over Chip Herr, but Chip gets a great run through the kink. And now he's side by side and has the inside position heading down into Canada corner.
Yeah, I don't know that Cunningham's going to back out. He's going to try and stay there as long as he can, but that's a really good position for her to hold that inside line.
So now we'll see how good the Cunningham car is in chase mode as he's led the first couple of laps here. As they head down into turn 14, PD thinks about retaking that lead right away. Chip Herr at the point for the first time now on race lap number 2. And Jose Pena right behind Taz Harvey in the battle for the final podium spot.
Pena should be able to draft behind him if he needs to at the end of the straightaways because of the large TCR car compared to that small CRX. So we'll keep an eye on that if he can. But this is a good shot of Lewis now. He's gone around Chris Edens, and Lewis now back up, we think, into the 4th spot. There's Rob Warkaki out there in front of him. Maybe Warkaki might still be the 4th spot, so Lewis may just still be in 5th, trying to chase down Warkaki now in the number 78.
Yep, just behind them, Chris Edens in the number 26. And there is the leader in GT3U, Tony Ave. After just a single lap, he already had a 3-second advantage over Jeff Neal. After those 3 mixed it up a bit at the top, so Tony Ave looking for his 2nd gold medal of this Runoffs, taking the win yesterday in GT1. He also raced in Formula Atlantic
Well, I was
last
going to
night.
say, he's had a bit of ups and downs. The ups being the GT1, the downs being he had a mechanical issue before he even got out of grid yesterday in the FA race, so it kind of ended for him prematurely. Really was terrible for that because we were looking forward to a good one with him. But he's hoping then now the pendulum swings the other way and he can have an up in this race. Off to a good start. Fingers are crossed because going back to last year was not a good year for Tony in GT3. Had qualified up front, had to do an engine swap, which meant he started at the back, had to chase the whole field, gets all the way back to the front, and then the car lets him down before the end of that race. So talk about ups and downs. He had it all in one race. He's hoping this can be all ups here for GT3 for him.
Here's the 09 of Tony Rivera in that Mazda RX-3 body on the tube frame chassis. And Warkaki behind him by about 5 seconds with Michael Lewis in recovery mode.
Yeah, watching Jeff Durnell there in that wine-colored RX-7 out in front of this, it does look like Tony may be catching him just a little bit here. We'll see how they do, but a couple of Mazdas there going at a couple of very traditional bodies as we take a look at the STU group now.
It's the 74 car of Michael Kuna. That battle going on for 5th, 6th, and 7th. Reed Hazelton in the 49. Shuffled back just a bit as Michael Kuna and David Fiorelli in that Mustang out in front of this group right now.
You'll notice something about the Fiorelli car. We saw him do this last year as well. Look at that rear wing, how it's all offset to one side. He had done that last year, noting how this place is full of these high-speed right-hand corners. It does help keep that inside planted a little bit better for him. Cut off corners, you can see there the torque of the Mustang, but that offset rear wing, very, very unique, something we haven't seen before, but 2 years in a row now, you'll see him out there doing that for David Fiorelli.
Basically for the carousel.
Yeah.
There are plenty of fast right-handers in this racetrack, but the carousel's the longest one, and that certainly pays dividends. But it does look a little unusual for sure.
Hey, whatever works. If the stopwatch says it's faster, you do it.
Exactly. There's Fiorelli and right at the Kuna in the 74 BMW, and then Jorge Nazario in the 165 Mazda MX-5 right at the tail of this three-car battle as they're going after it for 6th, 7th, and 8th in the STU field. Just behind them, the red number 75 of James Schlechter in his Nissan 300. As we turn our attention back to the lead battle now, Chip Herr trying to fend off the challenge from Peter Cunningham for the lead.
Cunningham didn't have any intention of going by there. He just deliberately moved over, wanted that mirror to be completely full of that livery, and just showing Chip that I'm not going anywhere, I'm going to be here. But you even saw Petey even break earlier. You knew he had no intention of dive bombing, and that's not the kind of racer he wants to be today, but he certainly wants Chip to be watching those mirrors more than he's really watching his turn-in points.
Interesting to see the two. It looks like Herr's car is so much wider, but in reality it's not much. But you know, the fender flares so apparent on that Audi. Looks like that would give Petey a little bit of a aerodynamic advantage on these long straightaways. Good exit out of Canada for the Honda driver.
I just wonder how long Petey wants to go, because he looks like he's just playing around back there. Look at all these lines as he's coming in, just sort of playing a little bit with Chip. I don't know that Chip's not the type who's going to fall for any of that. Obviously, a seasoned veteran, been around as long as anybody. He knows all the games, all the tricks. But for Petey, it is fun to watch him doing this. At some point, maybe he'll just pop in and say, hey, let's start swapping some spots. Now that they've got about a 7-second gap on the rest of the field, they've got room to if they want to.
Looks like Daz Harvey's got a loose exhaust. You can see the sparks there as it is dragging on the track, and the stewards will have a quick look at that. He might find a meatball flag coming his way, as he has dropped back to 4th as Jose Osiris Pena up into 3rd now in the Honda Civic. So Harvey, and that broken exhaust will cost him some horsepower as well, especially at the top end.
There you go. Now, again, Tony Rivera still closing in on Jeff Durnell for that third spot.
Yeah, Durnell a little bit off the pace that he showed earlier. This is going on about 12 seconds behind the leader, Tony Ave. And here goes Tony Rivera to the inside. Thought about it.
Yeah, he got hard on those brakes. That car got a little bit squirrely in the brakes. But he can sense that Durnell's got something going on that's besides the rain light blinking. He's got something going on there in that car that maybe Tony thinks he can make that move on him. I love this car that Tony Rivera has, the old Gary Bachman car, legendary car in this field. And when Tony bought this a couple of years ago, he said, I'm not changing that ounce of that livery. It's going to stay that way. So we have the battle now for the position behind him for 4th here, as Lewis is going to go inside of Workhockey.
Lewis in his recovery mode after that mistake down into turn 5 on the first lap, using up all the runoff area there. So that's going to move Michael Lewis up into 4th position. He's lapping, his last lap was a 2:27 flat. And we've got a change for the lead. We're going to get a replay of when that pass happened. As Peter Cunningham now out in front. And I think you were absolutely right, Lefty. He was toying with Chip Herr. So let's see if he's going to decide to put his head down and try to get away here a little bit.
Yeah, Chip, I think, may also just be sort of playing that game. Let's see what this pass looks like as they come down the hill into 3. This time, Cunningham got a really good exit of 1, and Chip says, all right, fine, you can have this one. We'll continue to play it later. And Chip, again, maybe thinking he could do the same thing to Petey that was just done and just sort of play with him back there.
Yeah, exactly right. So Cunningham will retake the top spot. at the end of race lap number 5, and he sets his personal best, a 2:24.7. Chip a 2:25.5 on that last lap. But he's right there on his bumper. These two are not going to get too far separated from each other throughout the course of this race. This battle going on 11 seconds in front of the third place runner, Jose Aceros Pena, in that number 199 Honda Civic. So Chip, the Audi meat in the Civic sandwich, as our GT3U leader, Tony Ave, now catching up to the back of the STU field. In fact, he's lapped up to the 9th place car. That's the 20.
Oh no, big
Peter
spin there for
Federline.
the Supra. Oh, yeah, he looks like he may have recovered quickly, but not after kicking a lot of dirt around there, coming off of 14.
Big cloud of dust as they come up the hill. And this battle between Dernil and Rivera continues. Oh, Rivera almost taps his bumper.
Oh, and now they've got one of the STU Miatas there in front of them.
Yeah, I think that was the car that went off there in front of, that was St. Pierre, I believe, but we'll check it out as they work their way across the line. Dernil's car definitely with the straight line advantage, as he is able to open up a big gap over Rivera in the run down the hill, but Rivera's car handling so well.
Yeah, I think the car that we just saw slowing was Nazario in the MX-5. But I thought when I'd seen sliding earlier, the big cloud of dust was Federline in that Supra. But definitely a lot of sliding in 14 right now, as Lewis now again still being pressured by Warkaki.
And he is the fastest car in the group right now. His last lap, a 27.4. The leader, Tony Ave, at a 29 flat. So Michael Lewis definitely with the pace to get to the front here, as trouble for the 165 slow down the front straightaway here, as Jorge Nazario in problems. Hopefully he can coast down to the pit exit and get out of harm's way, so we don't have to bring out a safety car here. But that car appears to be dead stick.
He had the issue off of 14 that looked like that's when Tony Rivera kind of got almost into the back of Jeff Durnell because of that slowed car. So yeah, hopefully he does get to the pit out and we can get back to green flag in that section.
As Warkaki staying right with Michael Lewis after Michael made the pass. Rob is staying right there with him as they come down the hill, passing the slower car, the 05 of Alan Orban.
Yeah, that SRT4 Neon out there. You don't see many of those, but here he is running an STU.
Getting word that we are clear, as Nazario was able to pull off into a place of safety, so we'll stay green. As these two GT3 cars make their way through the carousel, and look, they're closing up on the back of Tony Rivera. So Michael Lewis in a great charge after that first lap mistake down into turn 5, all the way down into the runoff, and he has come back with a vengeance here, and he is bringing Rob Warkaki with him. Now we turn our attention back to the lead battle in STU. Cunningham still with the point, her in second spot as they exit turn 5. Just about half a second apart at the line, as both of them setting personal bests on each lap. Chipper going a little wide at the exit there of turn 6 before he bends it into 7. In the section they call Hurry Downs, down toward turn 8.
So close racing, but we're hearing Chip Herr maybe reporting of a low oil pressure in that car. So we're going to keep an eye on his pace, but it is the runoffs. At this point, you send it until the car won't send anymore. And for him, actually, it's a newer car. He just picked this up. We know he's two-time defending champ. It was in an Audi the last 2 years. It's not this Audi. Of course, that was the all-wheel drive Old World Challenge car. This is a true TCR front drive Audi. Very, very different cars. And for him, story I heard, just picked it up a couple of weeks ago practically, or maybe in August. And so still maybe getting things sorted out and getting used to how that car wants to go. And apparently picked up the pace relatively quickly as he's fighting for the lead here with Petey Cunningham.
Yeah, gets a good run through Kettle Bottoms down into Canada Corner.
They're going to catch some traffic there in front of them, as that looks like Klein in that the GT3 number 93 that's just a corner or two ahead of them. And there he is.
Rick Klein out of the Atlanta region in his first runoff start. Doing a good gentlemanly job of staying out of the way of these leaders as they work their way through, as they've lapped up to the back of the GT3U field. And now here comes Chip Herr side by side, has the inside line into turn 1. Who's going to be later on the brakes?
Lots of movement under brakes for both drivers.
Herr goes a little wide. Cunningham with a little tidier line, which should give him the run for the classic over-under here down into turn 3, but he can't quite pull that trigger just yet. So Chip with the lead in the potentially low oil pressure Audi. Unfortunately, what usually follows a low oil pressure warning is a big cloud of smoke. But we'll see if he can keep it healthy to the end here as we are into the second half of this race, working race lap 8.
Yeah, for him, he'd like to know there's 7 laps left in that engine. that's all he needs.
Exactly.
6 plus a victory lap if he can get there.
Yep. Cunningham tries the over-under coming out of turn 5 into 6, but drops back in single file.
Yeah, now it looks like Michael Reese there in the S2000 is going to be the next traffic that they've got to work through. And they may be catching it either into 8 or into the carousel. We'll see where Reese checks his mirrors and looks, and he's just going to let them go now.
Compromises their exit speed just a little bit, but doesn't affect the battle. Into the carousel. And we've got a change here. No, we don't. Okay, I thought Warkaki had gotten back around Michael Lewis. Not the case. He's behind him as they are trying to run down the third place runner, Tony Rivera, in that 09.
And Tony's got that Supra of Federland from STU right in front of him. There he just finally gets around him, and of course then you got that other Honda Civic in there as well that might be St. Pierre, I think. But these three all very close together. Durnell's pace is picked up just a little bit from Rivera, so now there's a couple seconds up the road. You can see Durnell coming into 5. Rivera was pressuring him earlier, and now is backed up. Now Rivera may be thinking, I've got a couple other Mazdas coming up behind me in the form of a 11-time champ, and of course Warkaki was one before as well. So a lot of talent in Tony Rivera's mirrors right now.
Up the hill, Michael Lewis late on the brakes to try to get around the 20 car Peter Federland in the Supra. Tony Ave slowing. Ave is slowing.
Oh no.
Yeah, he is definitely off the pace.
And there's Durnell ready to pounce, and Ave looks like his day is done.
New leader, Jeff Durnell. Tony Ave, his bad luck continues here.
Oh, this is a tough place to be going slow all the way around the carousel. He's in the cockpit, he's looking down. Everyone's having to go around him, watching the flaggers, make sure they know where he's at. But now we have a new leader in the GT3 race, and it's Jeff Durnell.
Tony Rivera now in the silver medal position. And Michael Lewis in a medal position after that mistake on the first lap.
For Durnell, he was the 2019 winner back at VIR. And so he's probably thinking, well, he knows exactly who he just passed. He knows exactly what's going on here. His crew, I'm sure, is telling him, watching his pace and all those things. And we were just saying he was actually starting to pull away from Tony Rivera. So for all of them now realizing where they're at, podiums are potential. Look at this, Warkaki goes back around Lewis.
Michael Lewis, yeah.
Warkaki last year had an amazing battle with Blake Wilson. Very similar, exchanging spots potentially for the podium. Here he is doing it again with the 11-time champ.
And once again, Peter Cunningham has moved back to the lead of STU as we've got battles up and down this racetrack. Attrition beginning to play a factor. We're going to get a replay of where that pass was made down into turn 5. Just later on the brakes is Petey Cunningham.
Deep on the brakes. And he actually was able to hold that line very well. I wonder if Chip Herr kind of broke a touch early this time by maybe getting a little bit warmer brakes at this stage of the race. Cunningham pouncing on the opportunity.
As these two have swapped that top position multiple times already as we're working race lap 9. Through and out of Canada Corner into Thunder Valley and the Bill Mitchell Bend.
Behind them, Jose Pena still out there running in that 3rd spot. Taz Harvey, we saw him with that loose muffler before, is still out there circulating. He's in 4th, so he has not meatballed in yet. So that's a good thing for him, holding on to that 4th spot, but he's about 10 seconds back from Pena for 3rd.
Rylan Hazelton in the number 49 Honda Civic is just behind Harvey, and I'm just checking the lap times, and he is lapping marginally quicker. So we'll see if Harvey's wounded car is going to fall victim to Hazelton before this one's over. Cunningham maintaining his lead here as Chip Herr uses up all the runoff and then some.
is the TCR line.
We saw in the SRF race yesterday, the Spec Racer Ford race, everybody was using up all of that runoff out there.
The Spec Miatas will use all of it. I think when we get to some of the other races later, like FC and FF, I don't know that they'll be using as much of that. Some of the Formula cars.
It's a little rough out
there.
It's
a little bumpy,
yeah,
but some of these more touring cars, they'll use all of it.
Chip Herr not letting Peter Cunningham get away here as they head down the hill toward turn 5 once again. Just about 3 car lengths, I would call it, as they exit 5 and climb the hill. Cunningham's last lap a 25.6, Herr's last lap a 26.9. So Cunningham at this stage of the race showing he's got a little more pace. Working race lap 10. There'll be 3 to go when they cross the line next time. As long as these two have been racing in pro racing, you would think that they started with years of runoff experience. Not true. This is only Chip Herr's 5th runoff start, and this is Peter Cunningham's 3rd runoff start. So, as they have retired from their professional racing duties, or at least part-time anyway, right back at it in amateur racing ranks here.
Yeah, not the usual story for folks that end up as pros. They don't normally start the pros and come back to this. I love it, though. I think it's great. It adds a lot because they want to keep racing, and this is a great event, great opportunity. It shows you how important these runoffs really are, even to someone with all the experience of Chip Herr and Petey Cunningham. But also it's great for the other drivers that are on the other side of that path that maybe have the Monday job to go back to. They've never maybe aren't going to be pros or maybe on their way to being pro, but now they get to race against these guys and really measure up and enjoy it, and I think it's really great at both ends.
Exactly right. And Petey, it's unfinished business. I mean, he has yet to win a gold medal at the runoffs. So this is his opportunity to do so. Chip's already got 2 after his 4 starts, so that's a pretty good hit rate.
It is a bucket list item for every racer. Look at Chip now, back to pressuring. He had a lap of kind of cooling things down and waiting. Now with 3 to go, he is all over the back of Cunningham into 1.
Just letting him know that he's there. Using up all the racetrack once again, and plus a little more. Cunningham being a little defensive now, is a little off the normal racing line heading down to turn 3.
So we're watching this. I'm also keeping an eye on these, the GT3s, as we get a lot of smoke here in the background of 8 going into the carousel. I think Rivera's cars, a lot of smoke. I mean, it is a rotary. They do burn a lot of oil, but it's increasing the amount. And what worries me is that last year we had an unbelievable amount of attrition in the last 2 laps of the GT3 race, whether it was the leaves causing overheating or whether it was gear issues on one car or whether it was electrical issues on another. No one wanted to finish on the podium in that race, it seemed, except, of course, the 11-time champ, Michael Lewis. Rivera here, though, if he can get this thing around, he's been smoking the whole race, but I don't know how much oil he's got on board, but I hope he's got a lot.
Yeah, that smoke seems to be coming out of the wheel well as opposed to out of the exhaust pipe. Yeah.
It does.
Yeah, that's coming out of the wheel. I think he's got an axle seal or a bearing going bad.
Yeah.
That's a little more ominous, actually, than a little tailpipe smoke out of that rotary.
And he's been running in the 2nd spot now, of course, since Ave's misfortunes. And he's in a pretty solid position if he can keep the car moving, but that does not look good, especially around the straightaways at this track. Just for reference, his trap speed, which is measured on the back straight, 139 miles an hour with a smoking rear end in your RX-3 is a tough thing to manage.
He's a couple seconds off his best lap. His last lap as he crossed the line was a 29.2. His best lap a 27.6. So he is definitely off the pace, but Dernille is also lapping in the mid-29s, and he's only 2 seconds up in front.
Warkaki is actually the quickest of that front group there. He's in the 28s, but he is, as you can see, about 5 seconds back from Rivera. So the pace right now for Rivera and Dernille is good enough. Its matter is, I guess the question really becomes, is it good enough for long enough?
And Michael Lewis dropping back now as Chris Edens has gotten back around him to take over 4th spot. So Michael Lewis with a wounded car. He is well off the pace. His last lap a 2:33.4.
Well, this is all how George Chihone got onto the podium last year. He didn't even know it last year because you had issues falling to Warkaki, Rivera, Edens, and a whole mess of others all in the last lap. Chihone came through, had no clue when he pulled up pit lane that he was being pointed over to get interviewed for being on the podium. He had no idea, and that's where he was. And right now, well, he's sitting there in 6th. Things could happen. There's already one of them in front of him. Michael Lewis looks like he's out.
Michael Lewis done for the day in that one. for sure, as it looked like Chip Herr was going to take the lead at the exit of turn 1, but Petey Cunningham with a tidier exit was able to take it right back again. As we watch Tony Rivera trying to hang on to that silver medal. Here's Warkocki in front of him.
If you're Tony Rivera right now, I mean, you've got to know, obviously. I'm sure his wife Katie's telling him, hey, you got a lot of smoke coming out if you couldn't already tell. But at the same time, he can see the leader of the race right in front of him. You want to push, you want to get there, and then you say, well, if I can limp home and stay ahead of Warkocki behind me, at least I stay in the podium. What do you do in this situation?
Durnell with a great run in that number 65 red Mazda RX-7. And the swan song for these GT3 cars as a separate class.
I really hope there's going to be a place for them in the new STU, because I do love these cars. I've managed to be lucky enough to call the GT3 race now for 8 years or so, and it has just been amazing. I love the people in this class. They build these cars for life. This is their blood, sweat, and tears go into these cars, and they are amazing cars. Just the power and the weight is a great combination as a race car, and I would hate to see them all retired off and into the sunset. So I'm hoping there's a place for them going forward.
Rivera still showing some smoke out of that right rear corner. Wonder if it was like a brake lockup or something. I don't know. That's hard. It's still smoking.
It is.
It seems to be getting a little worse.
It is squirrely, but it could be like an axle seal in there, and it's that right side, all these right-hand corners, that car just sort of kicks out a little bit more of it. 2 laps to go. He's got to go 8 more miles.
And there are plenty of right-hand corners on this racetrack.
Yeah.
And now the battle for the lead coming to the white flag. It is Peter Cunningham with the point. The interval at the line, 0.6 of a second.
How many more tricks does Chip have, and how many more defend the line does Petey Cunningham have? How many more tricks for both of them? Same line through one they've been doing the last 6-7 laps. Herr runs wide. Cunningham stays inside of that wide run. Cunningham's been faster into 5, and that's been a key for him as he's later on the brakes through there. Chip maybe a little quicker through carousel, so we'll see if maybe as we get down towards the kink in Canada, we've got ourselves maybe a side-by-side.
Really 3 braking zones left. The one at the bottom of the hill at turn 5 is probably the best. And then hurry downs down into turn 8 is an opportunity. And the final one is at Canada. Cunningham squirrely under the brakes as he realizes he's got to, and Herr goes long. Tried to keep the braking as late as he could, but he went a little too long.
Yeah, that's where Cunningham sees a heavy advantage of the brakes into 5 all race. We saw already a pass there earlier in that same spot this time. Maybe Chip was trying to just make sure he stays with him and just broke a little bit later than the car wanted to.
I think that's going to give Cunningham maybe the cushion that he needs to hold off the challenge here. Down into turn 8, so that's the second of those passing opportunities gone as this battle for the lead in STU into the carousel for the final time. But as we have seen so many times, it ain't over till the checkered flag flies.
It definitely is not with any of the cars in this field. Wait this out, but for Cunningham, he has won a lot of things in his day. Look at the dirt there for Chip, really pushing through the kink, and he's now thinking of, I just didn't make that mistake in 5, I could be there. But for Cunningham, he knows he's won, it seems, everything that you can win except for a Runoffs gold medal, and he wants that. He's got 2 corners to go.
Peter Cunningham, real-time racing, of course. He is home for many, many years. A local driver out of Milwaukee. And in his 3rd runoff start, he is going to notch a gold medal if he can just get to the top of the hill and across the line. Peter Cunningham finally gets it done. In his 3rd runoff start, takes the gold medal. Chip Herr in a valiant charge. Margin of victory just over a second, 1.2. Jose Osiris Pena in a well-deserved 3rd spot among these TCR cars. Osiris Pena.
These guys
should
side
come
by
home in
side
3rd.
on the cool down.
Having a wave to each other,
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Yeah, great race between these 2 veterans.
Yeah, I can't wait to see them on the podium. Chip Herr waving to the corner workers. Here comes Jose. as he climbs the hill. Daniel winning the STL class back in last year's runoffs, but a well-deserved race. We will see him later on in the STL race at the end of the day, our last race of the weekend.
All right, well, this one's not settled yet. Darnell still has that 10, 12 car lengths or so on Tony Rivera. These cars have had ups and downs in this race. Darnell's looking just solid. Rivera's still smoking out of that rear end, but he's got a mile and a half to go. We're going to watch.
He made it work. Into Canada corner goes the 65 of Jeff Darnell. Darnell, the 2019 champion of the class, and he is eligible for a super sweep with a win here. So he may be our first super sweep winner of this runoffs. The super sweep. In the same class, the driver has to win a Hoosier Super Tour race, win the Hoosier Super Tour National Points Championship, win a Majors Tour Conference Championship, and win the runoffs. And Jeff Darnell has just done it. Our first super sweep winner of the runoffs, unofficially, goes to Jeff Darnell. Well done and well deserved. And a great run for Tony Rivera into second spot.
Yeah, absolutely awesome run for Rivera in that old Bachmann car. Oh, it's beautiful. And then Warkaki as well. A great run for him to end up on that podium.
Warkaki, a multiple champion in his own right, 2 championships. And those have been his only 2 podiums. And here we go, side-by-side racing. Deeper in the pack, that's the 26 of Chris Edens.
Yeah, I think that might
that's
be a
not for class.
car.
Yeah, that's a lapped car. So Chris Edens comes home in the 4th position in GT3U.
In that Mazda Miata tub car that he's got here running in these GT3s. Incredible car. Great finish for him at 4th.
Peter Federlin in the Supra. He'll come home in 10th position in the STU class. Well done, well done. Again, attrition taking out a couple of the favorites. Tony Ave and Michael Lewis both falling afoul of technical issues. And Jeff Darnell taking the win in GT3U and the coveted super sweep for the weekend. Well done to Jeff Darnell.
Yeah, absolutely. Great job for him. He's always in the mix. He's got a championship before. Now he's got a second one to add to his collection. Taking the win here in what it's the last iteration of the old GT3s to go out as the last one winner there. We'll see what he looks like in the new STU going forward. But STU itself has also got the facelift, and it looks like this. It looks like these TCR cars. Great racing here from both of them for Cunningham. I can't wait to hear what he has to say about being in racing as long as he has and not having a gold medal until today.
Exactly right. Flashing his lights to the corner workers as he comes through turn 14. They climb the hill, and the man awaiting them there is our partner Hayward Wagner, who will be interviewing our top 3 finishers in both classes here. But the STU leaders, the first to reach Parc Fermé. Peter Cunningham, on his 3rd opportunity, takes the gold medal. Chip Herr, already a 2-time medalist.
I do wonder what is the longest run from your first runoff start to your first gold medal. Not number of races, but number of years.
And it's got to be up there. Like I say, his best
41 years.
Yeah, his best finish was 1988.
Yeah.
That's back when the runoffs were still at Road Atlanta. Yeah. He's got a smile on his face. That's certainly a good news. Yeah. Let's send it down to Hayward Wagner with it looks to be a very happy Peter Cunningham.
I do believe we have a very happy Peter Cunningham. We're getting a gold medal around his neck. We're getting the SCCA hat, and we've got some Hoosier neck jewelry to go on. And guys, if you don't think this matters, if we can get a shot of Peter's hands, there's a lot of excitement and energy here. Peter, normally I say things like, your second ever runoffs podium, it's a win, how does it feel? But I get to say a 7-time World Challenge champion with a very first ever runoffs national championship. How does that feel?
It feels great, Hayward. I mean, we did this, back before the tracks were paved in 1984 and 1988, and then, I focused on pro racing and other stuff for all that time. But there was no conflict this year, and It was at my home track celebrating its 70th anniversary of existence, so it just seemed like the right time to come back and attempt it, but Chip made it awfully difficult.
He did indeed. Tell us just a little bit about this car. It's a beautiful race car. It looks very fun to drive and incredibly well built. What are these cars like to drive?
Well, it's pretty amazing. They're built by a company out of Milan, Italy, the same company that builds all the NSX GT3 cars. And the thing is just buttoned up. Everything is just so nice. You know, we like building our own cars at real time over the years, but hopping into this thing, it's just all buttoned up and great. It handles great. It's so reliable with the Honda motor in it and the X-Track gearbox, and the Hoosier tires just maintained the whole time, so it was just an awesome car to drive today.
Well, it was a tremendous race to watch. It is tremendous to hear so much joy and excitement in your voice. Do enjoy this final lap for your weekend.
All right, thanks. I'd like to thank the real-time crew who worked tirelessly to get this going. Little Nady here and little Ian and Mario and everybody else that helped. And my sponsors, the Summersberger Group from Baird and Valley Chevrolet out of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and of course Hoosier, HRC, Honda, and all everybody else, Redline Oil.
Well, we'll see if there's room in the car for these little guys to ride with you.
Great to hear from Peter Cunningham, and obviously it means a lot to him as well. Here's the results from the STU class. Cunningham taking the win by just over a second from Chip Herr. Jose Osiris Pena in third spot. Taz Harvey hangs on for fourth. Reed Hazelton in fifth. Michael Cunha in the sixth spot. David Fiorelli, James Schlechter, Peter St. Pierre, another of the Civics, and Peter Federlin in the Supra, rounding out the top 10 in STU. With two other medalists, Chip Herr and Jose Osiris Pena, with Hayward Wagner.
Well, Chip, you've got a big grin on your face. You just told me you had a couple of test sessions in this car. How many laps do you think you turned total in this car before you took the green?
Well, I did the test day on Wednesday. I drove it at New Jersey on these tires and a great, fantastic Hoosier tire. And showed up here with just, it's an Audi and it's me, and I got the suit, so, it makes sense. Man, what a car. I just wish I had a little more time. And, Petey, we have a past, and I showed up the World Challenge, and he was always the guy to look up to, and I still do. I'm still watching him drive away. But, man, clean, professional. He's a top notch, man. And I was honored to race against him. And then we do it again here at the Runoffs, which is, I call it the Catalina Wine Mixer. Let's go. I had oil pressure lights coming on, and I knew she'd stay with me. I knew it would stay together. So, man, that was wild.
Well, congratulations on the silver, and always an exciting interview, sir. Bronze this time. How's it feel?
It feels fantastic, man. It feels fantastic, man. I grew up in Dominican Republic watching Peter and Chip compete, and I dream to come and watch them compete here in the United States, and I'm in the podium with them, man. That's a dream come true. With every children out there dreaming, the dream came true. It's for real. Work for it.
A lot of people say, don't meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed. That doesn't feel true for you, is it?
It doesn't feel true. Thank you so much for my mechanic, Eric Gibre, Eduardo Grau, Peluca, El Tuner, and my wonderful wife, which is taking care of the kids. Kids, we did it.
Congratulations, sir.
Thank you so much.
Fifth medal for Jose Pena, and obviously a moment for him to race against a couple of his heroes as Peter Cunningham out for his victory lap. But we've got three more podium finishers to talk to from the GT3U Swan Song as a separate class. So Hayward's ready with Jeff Darnell. Hayward?
Jeff Darnell, it's been a little bit of a wait. 2019 was the last time we got to do this, but we're doing it again. You are a national champion once again here at the Runoffs. How is it feeling?
It feels awesome. And remember last year with the shock and the sock? I don't know which one did it, but I'm wearing the lucky socks.
Well, in that race, it took a little bit of luck. Several cars had some mechanical problems, but I'm sure you've got some people to thank that helped you got here.
Oh, my God. There's too many to list. Barry Trevette, my crew chief, Joe Kursak, that was my crew this week. They worked their butts off. We got on each other's nerves a few times, but it basically all worked out. My wife, who's an angel, who puts up with all this stuff and allows it to happen. My shop, Roswell Outback Automotive, incredible place. We do racing and we do Jeeps. Just so thrilled with that. And my tuner, Ed Sempf, just did a phenomenal job on this thing. The carbon fiber people, Rich Grupp, Daryl Drummond, it just goes on and on and on. You just can't imagine how much goes into making something like this happen.
So what I'm hearing is if you want to win the runoffs, you need to bring a lot of people, lucky socks, and long nerves. Is that about it?
You got it. You got it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to Jeff. Well done. As we've still got 2 other medalists, but let's do a quick rundown of our finishing order in the GT3U class. Jeff Turnell taking the win. As we'll see those results momentarily here. Tony Rivera with a well-deserved second spot. Rob Warkaki in third. We'll get a chance to talk to those two. Chris Edens finishes in fourth, the last car on the lead lap. George Saccone and Rick Klein also right there, but then Michael Lewis and Tony Abe started at the front but had trouble and unable to get to the finish. They say to finish first, you first must finish. Let's talk to our other 2 medalists, Tony Rivera and Rob Warkaki with Hayward Wagner.
Tony, I don't know if you bought this car thinking it would be on a podium or you'd win races with it, but I know you bought it because it means a lot to you. What does it mean to put a silver medal on for driving into this car?
It means quite a bit, especially with I've rebuilt the car completely, just basically cut everything off over the winter because I couldn't get the front end to grip and worked really hard on the suspension. I knew being an old RX-3, it's never going to be as slippery as the RX-7s down the straightaway, so you just got to, try and fight the battles that you could possibly win. So it means a lot, especially because I, did not have straight line speed all week, and but I knew that if I just hung tough and kept pushing, usually I'm a lot better racer than a qualifier, so glad it paid off.
Guys in the booth were seeing a little bit of smoke towards the end of the race. Were you getting radio communication on that? Did you know about it? Was that a factor?
No, I don't even run radios because I don't like being talked to. But I could smell it. I could smell it. And it's not just that I don't like being talked to by my wife. I don't like being talked to by anybody.
Nice save.
Yeah. So, no, I'm really, really happy, especially for, the last year of GT3 as we know it. Even though it's a little bit different, it meant a lot to try and get this car back on the podium by then.
Congratulations to you on that. The gentleman who was trying to chase you down and take that spot away, Rob, you got a big grin on that. Was that a fun race for you?
That was a lot of fun. I just, I can't be happy enough to have the runoffs at my home track. I have to thank, Mazda Motorsports and Hoosier, Control Manufacturing, Scott Santa, my major sponsor, my crew Adam, my wife Lynn. Family effort. We're closing out GT3, and that's kind of emotional for me. I've been in the class for 40 years. To go wheel to wheel with Michael Lewis like that, it's taken me 40 years to race with him, but that was a blast. And I really thought I could reel in Tony there at the end, but I was getting everything I had, and he was too. So, but 1, 2, 3 for Mazda. That's wonderful. Yeah, just an amazing event.
Well, congratulations! A lot of history, a lot of heroes in this race.
Absolutely, absolutely, a lot of talent. You look up and down that grid. Absolutely. Thank you.
Great to hear from our medalists in GT3U. So, a quick recap of this beautiful race here as we get a look at Peter Cunningham. Got his game face on to get started, and he takes the early lead from the pole position. But he and Chip Herr are going to swap that position multiple times. And then here comes the GT3U leaders and the 2 blue cars in the front. But they would come to tears, and then a scary incident here as one of the Lotuses getting in the back of Taz Harvey. Unfortunately, that was the end of the day for Richard Estacio. But here's just one of many battles between Chip and Peter as they swap that position multiple times, occasionally on the same lap. As Chip goes a little wide, and there's Michael Lewis rolling to a stop. A heartbreaking end to his day, but fortunately got it out of harm's way, so we were able to stay green. And then, once again, Chip Herr using up all the racetrack and then some down the hill into turn 3, but Peter Cunningham able to hold him off as this battle raged all race long. Down into turn 8, and Herr went a little late on the brakes on that final lap, or into turn 5, excuse me, on the final lap, and that was all it took for Peter Cunningham to notch his first national championship. Take nothing away from Jeff Turnell. We talked to him on the podium as he makes the win. Thanks so much for being with us for this finale for GT3U and STU. They'll be combined next year And on behalf of Lefty McLeod, I'm John Fippen. For Hayward Wagner, thanks for being with us. See you down the road.
Shopping for tires used to really grind my gears. So many tires, and the thought of choosing the right one made me, Precisely. That's before I went to TireRack.com. I got the best deal hands down. My tires ship fast and free, arrive the next day like clockwork. Tire Rack even gave me 2 years of free road hazard protection. Precisely.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Choose joy. Choose the road. Choose your people. Choose your shot. Take it. Choose to get in there. Even better, get out there. That's it. Way out there. Choose your calling. Choose to really care. Choose to go for it. Just choose. We craft cars for those who choose to do more than simply move.
I'll wake up.
Okay, so pretend this is your race car. It's on the trailer, and you have an accident. Ouch! At least your truck's insurance will pay for another one? Yeah, not so fast. Standard insurance won't replace your race car, whether it's in the trailer, in the paddock, in the garage, or the repair shop. But at Hagerty, we can protect it for what it's really worth anytime it's off the track. No matter what or where you race, offer less than a set of race tires. Hagerty, let's drive together.